This stream is proudly brought to you by whatis.zs.com. ZS is coming soon. Okay, friends, subscribers, and all you YouTubers out there. Yes, I decided to do a little bit of a stream and everything like that. Let's just say I don't even have anything set up here at the moment. In the process of setting it up. But I thought I'd do a bit of UFO hunting whilst I was here and everything. 5 more days till the band on the main channel is gone, and I'll be able to stream on that one, and you won't have to, pardon me, jump across to the backup channel. So pretty much I decided to do a bit of UFO hunting. I couldn't sleep, so I jumped here and I thought, oh, while I'm UFO hunting, I shall do a bit of this. Now, here's some really exciting news. Like, something that myself and all the other versions of myself from all the other different versions of the realities and everything like that. Back early on in our research, very early on in our research, we were studying one thing and one thing only, stars, and then we discovered the differences in the suns and everything like that, that stars move and different things that are associated with it. And we found that over time that our information is growing. We're able to form opinions and things like that, and we've been since changing everything and learning everything and trying to get everything right. Sorry, I'm just in the process of just swapping over to my backup channel dashboard, and but I went to the Astronomy Society meeting and everything like that, and one of the senior blokes was like, I've never actually joined the local astronomy thing. I followed their stuff and everything like that, followed the images that they presented, and why aren't I streaming? I should be streaming. It's telling me I'm not streaming. Oh yeah, okay, I'm streaming. So like one of the images popped up, and I've had to comment, and I've said, can you just go back to that image for me? And like, it's the first time I've ever spoken. Like, yeah, you do interact in these meetings and everything like that. First time I'd ever spoken out pretty quickly on my first day in a meeting like that. But I had to get him to go back to a certain image. And when he went back to the certain image, he has actually got a photograph from Earth on his own telescope that actually proves the research myself and the original version of myself from this reality have been doing. And let's just say I'm going to now work very, very close with them. I've even joined the society, and like I'll be going regularly so I can work with them and hopefully get them to help me out with my research, because it's just a matter of spotting stuff. Say if they spot it, can they take a photo of it for me? And which is what I really want to do, because what they have found, I'm just trying to bring that image up for you guys, that they found something that is what we called sundogs and everything like that, and how the stars are creating these things, and all the stuff that we found on Google Earth and Google Sky are now actually we're seeing. I've seen them, but I've never been able to get them decent photos of them. That's hence why all the beards bought all this expensive equipment, and we over time we didn't have the money, and then eventually we saved up the money and we got the equipment that was needed to actually do the job, and which we're still to this day, even in this reality, learning how to use the equipment, because each one of us has been adding to this equipment whilst we've been here. And I believe now that with what I've just spent has now actually brought it up to the to everything that makes it look and makes it makes it work better. It's easy to use. But see this thumbnail here, right? This is what we call a sundog, right? Stars actually create these things, and they really truly do, folks. Okay, so why isn't that not increasing? That should be increasing. Oh, there we go. That thing there, that's a sundog. And within his image, we found a... well, I spotted it whilst he was doing it, whilst he was showing everybody. I spotted this sundog being created by the star, and I explained to them just very roughly what I've been researching for 30 years, how I got into astronomy. And but that sundog there, this one here, I'll show you, that one there, and he had the exact same thing being created by a star on his own telescope and captured the image himself. And okay, maybe not 7, maybe we need to go back to 7. And yeah, so when I discussed it later and everything, I was telling him a little bit about my work, and I'm going to have an in-depth conversation with him hopefully tomorrow if he's home, or available on his phone, and see if he can actually get me a copy of that photo, because I'd love to have a specific copy of that photo and give him full credit for capture, because it's what I think. And I was telling him about this particular item that you still can see in Google Sky, and yeah, I'm just trying to find it. Okay, folks, I'm sorry. Just turn that off. I'll just jump through it until I can find it. I was explaining to him about the stars that move and what I do in my research. Where is it? I just had it there a moment ago. But all the other beers, this is why we had started a YouTube channel, and it's this particular item. This particular sundog was what started all of our research. Every piece of our research is based wholly and solely upon this one item. Sundogs. This is a sundog being created by 14 stars in perfect alignment. Now, as you see, and it zooms in, each shot shows you it's a damn star. And yeah. So, zoomed in, you can see that 14 suns and everything like that. G'day, Raquel, how are you? The thing is that we have done this and everything, and I'm glad I'm actually in this reality for a little bit longer than most realities that I've been in, and I've been able to actually get out and do a bit of stuff, which is good. I love working with the stars. I've always loved working with the stars, and it's my passion. And to actually get out and find this thing in someone else's image was so exciting, and everything like that. And so yeah, I'll be going along to all the events and try and work with other astronomers, local astronomers, because like if you try and work with mainstream astronomers, when I reported this to them, I said, oh look, can you go and see, oh that's a satellite going across the sky, yet I can quite clearly prove it's a star. And then the thing is, further on in his images, when I was looking at his images on Facebook, the one he has posted on Facebook, the stars look exactly like that. And the good thing about it is I can actually prove that those pyres upon the sun are actually real, on that particular sun, are actually just as physical, oh shit, I don't want that one, just as physical as anything else. And I've shown, in other realities I've gone through and shown others about how it actually works and things like that. And yeah, so I've gone through and I've done that, and we were hoping to get out there tonight, but unfortunately the weather was so bad that the event for tonight was actually cancelled, so I never got to go out there and learn about my scope. We've had a lot of rain here, and then lo and behold, starts to clear up and you can see the sky. It was overcast and cloudy. Wasn't the perfect night, but you could have had 10 minutes viewing here, 10 minutes viewing there, but not good enough for an event to actually take place. So I didn't even bother ringing to see if they changed their mind and everything like that. But the thing is, it's sort of, to see these things in the night sky, it's an absolutely amazing thing. It's sort of like, you've only got to look at my my place marks. There's so many place marks in there, beyond a joke. And you just go through and you look at absolutely everything, and you find stuff. Oh, there's the UFO. Is that the UFO? No. And so, and I know the other Bluebeards have walked you through these things. I've seen enough of their videos to know what they've shown you and what you haven't been shown. But it's within this field here, you see them more within this field in more greater detail, because these are longer exposures of the Hubble and things like that, or the Kepler, and doesn't tell you the particular telescope that's actually taking the particular image of this region. But no matter where you go in this region, you see sundogs being created. Like, okay, there's one being created right there. This is what I call the very start of a sundog happening. The very instant it's about to start, they create the blackish line, and around that there's two either green or blue or red lines coming on the outside of it. And I've even seen our sun release one of these things. G'day Terry, how are you? And so, yeah, and I've seen our sun create one. It was massive. It was only there for a couple of seconds, but in Google Sky, and when you're looking at them through a telescope, they tend to appear to be there for a greater period of time, because effectively it's got something to do with relativity. That yes, they're millions and millions of miles away. The event may have only happened for a minute or 4 seconds or for 5 minutes, but we get to see it for 10 years sort of thing, because the time effect has slowed down. It's sort of, and we're still seeing it as it happens. So something that happened over there so long ago it takes us 10 years to view it sort of thing, which is good in a way. So we get to see these events as they're happening, and so it gave me, it's good to actually play with the telescope. It's good to actually talk with other actual amateur astronomers. And the thing about amateur astronomers, they're the real astronomers, and they're out there. They're trying to. Do you know that most discoveries are actually done by amateurs? They're passed on to the bigger telescopes, who take half the credit to, like, legitimise it. But all these things here, they're created by stars, and but I'm going to jump over to this, just near it, I think it is. Is there one near? Yeah, there. We need to get a bit closer so I can find it. And there we go. There's one there. So the field on a star that we see, the pyres on a star, these pyres here, alright? Those pyres here that you see on a sun are actually physical. They're physical. I don't know what they're made of, but they are physical. How do I know they're physical? Because they react on the gas cloud that gets dumped by the sun when the sun pushes off and decides to propel itself. It leaves these things behind it, which has led me to find the many more of these particular things lying around the universe. They're seen in different ways and everything. I'm just trying to find it now because I've seen it zoomed out. There it is. So those pyres there. Right, now notice how on this particular star it's got a new one, but you can't really see it. It's like you can see it looks more like just the gas starting. And it looks different to all the others that have crisp edges on it. Well, let's find one that's got crisp edges on it. But that's the particular star. Anyhow, we'll find another one in a minute. But that's the particular one that has. Oh, okay. That's a good example of the physicalness of those pyres. Notice how the edge of this gas cloud is clearer. But you can see all around it everywhere, every now and then, you can see these cut marks as in those gas clouds. It's like an atmosphere around the star and everything, but that can be cut and manipulated as the star moves. It tends to make an impression on the outside. But see, it's not also being made by these, it's being made by what creates the sundogs as well. So sometimes you get doubles within the thing, and hence this is a dual one. You're getting one created by the actual star, the pyres, I call them pyres, and then you have the ones that are created by the sundogs that create. But suns are not round, by the way. Suns are cubes, and there are your proof of the cubes. You can see the proof of the cube where the sun used to be. It's a cube. It's actually a cube. Suns are not round. They create a round field of stuff. And the stuff that we actually see when we look at our sun is that. We see that. We don't see the centre of the sun. We see all the burning gases, and these gases are burning and everything like that. Then all of a sudden they, and you get some versions of them. I bet you the other beards have most probably explained all this to you in the past. But I'm doing a revamp on it because it's sort of, it's critical to what I'm talking about at the moment. I've just got to find them. Because they're all over Google Sky. You can actually even find them in the Worldwide Telescope. And some people have actually captured these things on their own telescopes. I call them coronal mass dumps, because when the star moves away, all right, when the star moves away from these objects, it leaves that gas cloud around them behind. And the proof of that is actually here. Not that one. Need one propelling itself. I believe that this here is what I just showed you with all the cuts and everything in it. the dump that is left behind, and the pyres are what propels, and that dump there is what is left of the coronal mass as it's going. It's taken me years to actually work that out, but I do believe that that's what it is. And they seriously propel themselves around the galaxy, and I believe this is what caused all these events that we get on Earth, like king tides and things like that. And because you think about it, if you've got a star pushing away, we get dragged along with it, and then all of a sudden we get this massive tide. And the logistics and the physics of it says, okay, something has caused that massive tide. What has caused it? Well, if you think about it there, okay, here's a better version of another star in the background of it. And pretty much, at first I thought these were just different cuts of photographs. They're not. When you look at the graininess of them, these are actually physical in the sky. There's a sundog there. There's a sundog across there. Now, look at this, okay, when you're looking at that image. That's not a cut by NASA. That is definitely not a cut by NASA, and we'll examine it in greater detail. Because if that was a cut by NASA, that would be crisp as anything. Oh, so he has shown you the cubes that look like the ball cubes. Yeah, okay. Their sun's being made. They are, the sun's actually being made. I believe that stars are also portals and giant ships. They're used for portals for the smaller ships. But you look at this, so many people have said to me, or in my reality, I used to say, oh man, that's just NASA cutting the image. It's not. Look at that. If that was NASA cutting the image, it would look like, where is it? There's one in here. I've seen it, saw it earlier. If that was NASA cutting the image, it would look similar. Is this? I don't know if this is a cut by NASA or... No, that's not even a cut by NASA. Or is it? That's a cut by NASA. Okay, and see the crispness of the edge? See, that is a definite cut by NASA. That's a clearer image overlay. Where that other one, that was not, yeah, that was not a NASA cut. But then you jump to something like this, and I thought, well, hang on, let's go to this one. That's even better. So we go to this one, and you look here. That when you see this here, there, that's not a NASA cut. Sorry, anybody that says, oh, that's NASA cut in the image, you're a fucking idiot. Sorry, but yeah. That's the sun propelling itself. And you want to know something? I'd speak like that in front of all astronomers. I wouldn't care less, because of the simple fact that I understand photography and I know overlays and things like that, and anybody that does astrophotography will say the same thing. If you overlay an image onto an image, you don't get that. You get a crisp line over the thing. Look at the feathering on that. Do you think that's a cut line? No fucking way, man. No. That's the coronal mass dump. That there is exactly... Find it again. Well, there's a blue one. That's what I was looking for before. And other things, by the way, come through and cut these things up and use them. And by the way, that one there belongs to that one there. And as again, you look at the center. Square. It's not exactly square, It looks like a resonance field, but now that's not what I want you to look at. I want you to look at what's inside these things. There are things that come through and go round. It's like as if it's a harvesting crew comes through and scoops it up. So whatever it is, I think it can be used for fuel. And maybe that's unburnt solid hydrogen or something like that. Because it's being harvested. That is harvested. And I think that is actually something in there harvesting it, actually. Where is it? Just saw it a second ago. So that one looks a little bit weird there. Yeah, that's something in there. It looks like it's a craft of some description inside harvesting. Or just starting to harvest. And you see them throughout. Squarish items within the thing. Ship of some description within that field. And I believe they are what are going through it and doing these scoops and things like that. Well, actually, that one might not be. That one might actually be caused by one of the spires doing a loop. Maybe, yeah. But, see, it's the fact that half of it's actually missing. And you can see that it's like that's harvesting. And that's something coming through. You look at any farmer. You look at any farmer's field. And how they harvest it. Straight lines. Sometimes, yeah, they curve and do things like that. And that's something harvesting. And then you get the ones that look like there's creatures that have come in and eaten it. And sometimes you actually see those creatures in there. And yeah, I'm saying creatures. We already know that there are creatures living in space. There's being seen all the time. There's a sundog that's been created still there. Maybe they are just as hard and thing. But here again, look at the shape. That now we're not looking at that internal shape there. I think that's got something to do with it. But when you look at it, the actual outside of it is a square. When it goes, it leaves these behind. And when you look at that, you join that together, and you get a cube. And that's how, and then Capella is the one that has dumped that. So when Capella has moved, it has dumped that field there. And so you go through and you look at all these things, and then you look at all the fields, and then you go into here and look through. And like I could go into the worldwide telescope. If I was on the other one, I would be, because I'm on the computer, because it's actually better suited for the worldwide telescope. So now we're going to come into here, and we're going to look at this and look at that field there. That's not a NASA cut. That's not cut by NASA. There's no way. And look at the spire. There's the spire. See that, whatever it is the end of the spire, and that is reacting inside that thing. So that has got something to do with that. But see, the blast here, see, that's where the sundog comes out. And you can see the track of what's left of the sundog, and that's the propulsion unit. Now, I have seen versions of that, those pyres, where they look like chains, but I've never been able to find it since. I think it's either NASA it's one of the NASA cover-ups, or... Now, that one there is what's left of I'd say a thruster. It's the thruster blast, and there's another one coming out of there. And notice how the stardog fields there, the sundog fields, not the stardog. Someone at astronomy said, oh, you should call them stardogs, but no, they're sundogs, because the star is a sun. And yeah, so here you can see each one of those is in perfect alignment of the thing. But when you go there and you look at it, because I'm going to prove that that is not a NASA car find. Look at it. That is interactive. That was taken at the time of the photograph. So that actual cut field is either someone harvested the front, but when you look at that, that is part of the interaction. That, I believe, is the last of the spire interacting with what's left of it as if it's saying goodbye, just a little quick... Yeah, you can, that's what I'm saying. You can tell it's being harvested. So that is a thing. And see now, look, here you go. You see the actual sundogs and everything like that. But with this here, now this one is interesting. And you say, okay, how can it create that? Well, what that actually is, they're the blasts of the turn. So this is a sun repositioning itself. Don't worry about that one there. That is a star behind it. But notice how the spires are still there. So they're physical and they can be left behind as well. But that is definitely not a cut and paste unit. Because why? That was a cut and paste unit. There was something in here. That little field there we go. That little tiny field which runs through it. Look at that. That's perfect. That is the same matter and everything just there where the mouse is. That is the same. See if I can zoom in on a bit. We're looking at that little field there. Where's the cut mark? Where's the cut and paste mark? None. There's no cut and paste mark. I'm sorry. These are not. That is truly how, and I believe that is a sun turning itself to go in an opposite direction. And, oh, they don't move. Well, what in the fuck is that? They move. They move. So, and as I said, that's the one that we were just looking at prior. That's the initial blast left behind, and I'd say it creates some kind of a field when it pushes itself away. That was the blast point there. It's come from that direction, which coincides with we need the line tool. Line, okay. So it coincides with the, oh, what do you know? It coincides with the sundog position. And like I could zoom in on this and show you all these, and you can see these actual fields. So, and to do it again, I'll get the line tool back up. Move it out of the way. So start at that end. Hey, why isn't it working? Okay, something's going on with this. Kilometers, we'll switch to kilometers. There. There's the actual, right dead smack centre of it. Right dead smack centre of it. Now these things always are aligned that's one that is already dumped. I believe that was part of a turning process similar to that. So by finding that there, but then, okay, well you say, oh well no, well that's not matching up with your lines. That was a sundog created prior. This is the actual mine, and it looks like they're thrusters of some description. Now I can do that to any single star that's in that process. Now, see that turn. Now you're saying, oh well, it's not a turn, but I'm sorry, but it is. See that one there? And I'll zoom in on that. I'll come back to the other one. Now notice it there. Okay, so then we're just going to zoom out of it. Oh, there's another one with the exact same thing. So what we're going to do, we're going to zoom in on it to prove that that cut mark has got nothing to do with NASA. That cut mark is not a NASA cut mark. I'm sorry, it's not. That is not a NASA cut mark. Because notice that the coronal section of the image is still there. That has got something to do and with it. There is something truly going on with these images, and I first thought that oh yeah, well it's a cut mark. They were my initial things, my initial opinions at first, the same as anybody else. They were the same opinions that I first formulated, exactly the same. Now here we go again. Now this is a NASA cut mark. This is a NASA cut mark. There's one there, one there. Look at the crispness of it. You can see the difference of a NASA cut mark to a natural event happening. There's a major difference within them. That's a sundog that's put out a green one and a red one at the same time. And here's the culprit that created that sundog. Now please tell me, okay, oh, they're NASA cut lines, is it? Check it out. Where's the cut line? That looks more like a harvest. Looks more like something that's come through and harvested it. And to show you that the line lines up again, I'll start from the blast. If I can get it working. There we go. And it goes right through the sundog position. Well, I think the star has maybe made a minor adjustment since then. But then we find that other sundog position. And it looks like it's done something here as well. So you can even find a history of the movements of these stars. And it's a lot of painstaking stuff. And I've had so many, oh well, it's how they paste them together, and then it's a Google cut mark, or it's a NASA cut mark, but Google's fucked it up and all these things. But they're not. They are not. This is a good one. This is a good example. You actually see here, you're actually seeing oops. You're actually seeing a sundog creation that goes straight through the actual sun, which it should be in the position of the thing. And I think that was an adjustment. This tool, they need to fix this tool. It does this all the time. It drives me nuts. And there you have the blaster from that section of the sundog going up through. And this is how I did these initial things. Now, see, at first I thought it was going in the coming towards direction and things like that. But then I started looking at other things on this thing. This particular one, I've seen it. It's actually it's actually making a maneuver whilst it's doing the blast as well. You can see the sundog creation. You can actually see that sundog underneath it. Whether or not they're creating fields or whatever underneath it, there you can see the sundog there through that field just. But you can also see something happening through here. There is definitely something going on through that angle of the star. So I believe these are the physical side. These are a physical thing as well, but trying to understand it's a bit harder. But it's this one here. Already, I think this is actually a braking maneuver. I think what we're capturing here is a braking maneuver, just because of the way those fields look. They look like it's as if it's an engine going puff, 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 puffing out a certain amount of field where it is actually slowing itself down. And I believe that those little puff marks coming out of the side of the sun are the same thing, but they're directional. And I think that's how they turn and things like that. Now, that sundog there, now this is I call these a star dog bullet, because for some unknown reason they shoot these things out themselves. I think I've just found a fucking comet. I've just found a fucking comet. Oh yeah, I have. I've just found a comet, guys. Oh, no. Okay. No, it's a galaxy. I'd say that's a galaxy with a star in front, man. A smaller thing looked like a bloody comet. Now, here, again, you look at this star here, you can see that the sundog is about to do something. But at the same time, it's also shooting out a sundog bullet. So I believe they use them for transport as well. That there is being shot, and I mean being shot like a gun or like some kind of transportation thing, being blasted out of that star there. And that's, you can see the line and everything like that. And that's coming out of the sun. There's not on the one on the other side. There's only that one. And that's like that green one just there. That's exactly the same as that green one just there. That's shot out by another star. But that one in there. You can have days and days of fun in here. Let's just say I've had 30 years. Ever since Google started playing around with the stuff. But here's another good example that they're not cut marks, folks. They're not cut marks from NASA because of the shape of this one. The shape alone of this one. Now, here's a maneuver. You can see the maneuver there. That's the maneuver there. Oh, that makes us a better cursor, that does. And then you see that's the blast, the initial blast. Where's the cut mark? That's not a NASA cut mark. You'd see an overlay image. It's not. That is wholly and solely a star moving, pushing itself. Oh, no, but stars don't move, people say. Stars don't move. Bullshit. Oh, no, we've got another one. This deep star field, there's so much focus on this. This is almost real-time interactivity of the thing. Now, look at this. This is a good one. I love this particular one. I always come back to this one. Don't know if the other beards have done the same thing. Now, I've had people say, oh, that's a definite cut mark. That's a definite cut mark. It's not It's a sundog cut mark. That's actually coming down in this direction. You can see the blast coming from the star. You watch this. We'll put a line. Use the line tool. Oh no, it leads directly to what looks like a blast on the inside, and there's also something on the inside of it. It's also shot something out at the same time, or something out there is going for a ride. But this one here, because that looks like it's coming towards us as well, that one there is actually, looks like there's been sundog maneuvers, or whatever these are, thrusters or whatever they are. You look at it, that only has to do with this actual particular unit, this particular star field. And when you look at it and follow it, oh my God, that's almost a created sundog. Almost created a sundog. And then, oops, there's another one coming from it, but then we've got the Stardog bullet. We've got a green one and a red one being shot out of it, the same thing. Directly out of the star. We'll zoom out. We'll zoom out. Go back to the line tool. Start from up here. And I'm not perfectly aligned with it because I want you to see those bullets coming out of it. I'm slightly above it. Now I'm going to save that one because I want that one to stay there. So that's my alignment. So the star has moved, and as I said, the star's coming towards us, so hence there's a bit of a gap, so that line doesn't line up with that. So, but when it's currently now shooting that line through it, and it's slightly off a bit, but it's shot out those little gizmos out of the sun. And I'm going to remove that now. Oh shit, how do you actually remove that? Oh, that's right, I've got to turn this back on. Okay, that's the right one. Right, so now we're back in the north alignment, so it's heading, this is heading northeast sort of thing within the sky arrangement. And as I said, that line is my line there. We'll turn it off. So this one here was a previous maneuvering adjuster, because you can see that the spire here is now no longer in the same position as it was here. They've used the sundog there. Notice how that sundog is still sort of there. That's a recent maneuver, not a current one. You can actually see a blasting. It's actually in this one. You can actually see a blasting of the sundog here. Let's take a photo of this one. And I'm going to zoom out here. You can see that the sundog itself is blasting out. Actually, this is most probably the best image I've ever actually seen. I'm going to mark this one. Best evidence, I'm going to call it. So you guys have just witnessed me discover something. Ah, man, didn't work. Oh, that's right, I've got to get up in here. Now do it. Anyone think of a good name for it? Bluebeard Star, we'll call this one. Bluebeard Star. And there it is there. Actually, that's most probably the first time I've actually found an image of a sundog creation, whether or not. But this actually proves it's a manoeuvring thruster. And that is a manoeuvring thruster. And that is amazing to actually see that and everything. It's sort of a wow sort of a thing. And so that explains all these little fields and all these little movements. See, there was another one here. That was a manoeuvring here. Notice how the field is older there. And that there is a planet that belongs to that star. That is a planet going for a ride with its star. Because we travel with our star, and there'll be other little planets around it that are travelling with it. And Bluebeard's star. And all those little things in there, and those fields and everything like that. Now here, again, as I said, this is another. Now notice there, and I believe that they use these spires are what are actually creating those what look like cut-off fields, because notice how the tip of that cut-off field there, the tip of it there matches up there, and there's sort of one here, but notice here, look, okay, so we're going to follow this side now. We're going to come up to this side and we're going to find, this is a good research piece here. We've just got another bullet. We've got another bullet. Where's the bullet, you say? Sorry. Oh, no, that's the same one. That's the same one. Sorry. Because I forgot the image flipped. So, yeah, it's so this is most probably the best evidence of how they turn and everything. So you've got the thrust still happening via the sundog there. So there's a sundog thing. Actually, that might be another sundog exit point. Actually, might not be a planet. Actually, that could be another sundog exit point. That could be something that's either coming in or going out. And you can see here, look at this here. You zoom in on this here. We look at this in here. There's something there. I believe that's the field that's creating such a force coming out of the sun. And see, what we see of the stars, we only see this here. We see that stuff there. Now, we can see this evidence on our own sun. We can actually see it on our own sun, but for 1 minute, I'll be back in a second. Sorry about that. Called nature calling. Does happen. Okay, sorry about that, guys and girls. It went a bit nutsy on me there for a moment, and yeah, I don't know what actually happened. So I'm trying to sort it out. But as I was saying, I actually think this image has just proved my whole thesis in regard to the sun. This one image has actually just proved my thesis, and I've been working on this for 30 years, looking for the true evidence of it, and because there's so many suns out there, that it's just a joke. Like, just to look at every star in this would take me 1,000 years, and it would take you 1,000 years just in this one field. In that one field, look how big the field is of stars. Look how large that field is of stars. Would take seriously would take 1,000 years, but just by screaming through this and just going here, there, everywhere, I truly think I've actually just proved my whole theory. And I now have the evidence to actually present it. And it's absolutely amazing. It's sort of, just by scanning the stars and talking to you guys, just by talking to you guys, I've actually found the evidence that I actually need that proves my theory. That stars move, stars are controllable, and it's all because of just one little thing. It's all because of one little thing. Because of, I noticed that all these cut-off marks and everything like that. See, and it was the green that told me that that's a sundog creations. That's created by a sundog. But then I noticed, and it was just here as I was looking and measuring those things, and we know that it's popped out, as I said, it's popped out those little things, those little pieces and everything like that. They're up there, and just by coming back to this side of that same line, I just noticed that blast there. Now when you see that blast, right? You see that blast. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to jump to something else. So I'm going to go to my favourite little search for stereo images. You see these all the time. The evidence has been in front of me the whole time. I can even now prove that my own son, or our son, does exactly the same thing. What do we want? Call to ahead. We'll see if we can get anything on call to ahead just in these dates. These dates will do. But I've got plenty of evidence already saved, even if I can't get anything on the last couple of days. And so our stars are actually important. This is most probably why the ancients worship the sun. Because our gods, the people that control the sun, the spaceship, the giant spaceship that pulls us along, where we are just little spaceships, maybe colonies of them and stuff like that. Maybe they breed us and whatever. We don't know. We truly don't know. We truly don't know, folks, what it's all about. We're trying to understand it. Yes, we're trying to understand everything about life. And yeah, so much for looking for UFOs. I did actually see one, by the way. The similar one to that was there the other day. It was a bit further ahead of the other one. But the thing is, that evidence is there. It's always been there in front of us. But we don't actually see that evidence because, see, it takes that one little image. It takes that one little image. And as I said, these are sundog bullets or whatever being created, and stars do move. And they truly do move. And you see them and everything by just simply scanning through it and explaining the cut-off marks. I have just proved my whole theory. By accident, proved my own theory. And I never know. I wonder if this is why I get so much contact and get taken so much, because I know I'm smart. I do know I'm smart. I've been studying in college for over, 6 years. It'll be 27 years next year. I've done so many subjects. I know my brain is smart. It just absorbs information. It's like a sponge. It just loves information. And maybe this is why I see more than others. It sort of, I've been tested. My IQ's been tested, and it's pretty high. And it's just amazing of what you can actually see and understand. But to get the information of what you've been searching for all your life, well, for 30 years of it anyhow, actually no, it's more than 30 years when I think about it, because it started when I was a kid. I started looking at the sun when I was a kid. I started looking at the sky when I was a kid, because, so you can actually see those pyres on a sun out in the sky with your naked eye. They look like reflections. In a way, they are reflections, but they're not. They're actual physical. They are a real thing. And by looking at everything and looking at the way all these things actually go with it and everything like that, well, the Mandela effect of people jumped off the channel, except you guys, because I'm not talking about the effect tonight. It's sort of... I put up my Mandela effect video tonight, which I actually found some residue, by the way. The We Are the Champions. When the movie comes out, it actually has the real song in it from Queen, that we are the champions of the world, in it. Where in this reality, they say it doesn't exist, because in the film version of the song performed on the stage in this reality, he just walks off the stage. So, and but here, yeah, I've now found the evidence. Just that one little piece out there, that one little thing there, that one little thing has just proved years of research. And then you say, okay, well, how has it proved the research? Well, that's what I'm trying to show. Bloody internal server error. Fuck off. I hate these things. Maybe we go to Core 2 behind, see what happens on Core 2 behind. Do a search. Oh, yeah, no, I think it's the behind. I can't remember which one works and which one doesn't, whether it's the head or the behind. But one of them does. It doesn't matter which one we look at, because I can actually prove it. I've got enough evidence out there. Yeah, no, it's the behind that's the one that's not shown. I can't remember from the other day which one, but it's one of the cores that you've got to search for. So I'll just do a thing. I think it's either behind or the head. Yeah, no, it might be the behind that we can't get anything on. So we'll go here. Doesn't matter, the evidence is actually there. Oh no, there we go. I know there's stuff here. I know there's definitely stuff there. And so hang on. Yeah, it's harder to get the 120. It takes longer to get those images, but those images are quicker. So we'll get these. These ones will be a bit quicker. So looking at H1, even on H1, there's evidence that this thing is actually operational on a constant basis on our own sun. Our sun is moving all the time. We are moving with it. It was actually one of my first thoughts of the Mandela effect, and I'm truly serious. I first thought our sun has moved, but it wasn't until that my children couldn't find my children and stuff like that that made me realise there was more to than just the sun moving. And okay, so there we go there. This is, see, NASA's aware of this thing happening all the time. And I'm not going to talk about all the other stuff that's happening around it. By the way, that is, I believe, a battle going on in the background. All those sharp spires and spaceships flying in and around and everything like that. And but there is, that thing there is actually what I'm talking about. But I'm going to go back now that I know which camera it is that works. Should be able to get the slideshow up a bit. Oh no, it's not just a positive energy. I am actually smart. It's sort of I've been, like, let's just say I might have been a tough kid at school, but I was a nerd. That's why I became a tough kid, because up until high school I pretty much got picked on because I was a nerd. And then, like most nerds, they snap. One day just someone does the wrong thing to you and you just snap. And that's what happened. I turned from a nerd to still a nerd, but a rough nerd. Let's just say after that event, the kids, I never had a problem with the other kids anymore. I was in second form and I beat the living shit out of a guy that could box. And I mean, I beat the living shit out of him. His brother did get me the next day, but the brother was Golden Gloves of the school. But see, what a lot of them didn't know is my dad was in the army. And so because my dad was in the army, he always used to sit there and he'd say, oh, well, look, you need to learn how to fight and defend yourself. Because quite regularly I used to come home and I'd have a few battle scars from kids picking on me and everything, and over time Dad just taught me. And then one day this kid was throwing stones in the back of me fucking head all the way home on the fucking school bus. Constantly throwing him in the thing. And as I got off the bus, he threw a really fucking big one, hit me in the back of the neck. I just ripped my watch off my wrist, gave it to my sister, turned around and I beat the living shit out of him. And I mean, I went home covered in blood. And I mean, I was covered from head to toe. And I've never been so fucking proud of myself walking up the street covered in blood. Knew it wasn't my blood because I saw him afterwards. It sort of, let's just say he was a screaming heap of shit when I walked away. And like, he was bigger than me. I didn't have my growth spurt until I was just about after high school. I went from about 5 foot to close to 6 feet, or close to 6 feet, and then I went to 6 foot. Now I'm shrinking, called old age. And yes, you do shrink with old age, by the way. And the thing is, I just went home and I seriously was covered in blood. And Mum freaked. I walked in the door, Mum freaked out. And she's got me in the shower and she's washing me. And where's the cuts? Where's the cuts? I've got to find them. I'm saying, Mum, it's not my blood. Not my blood. And Mum's not stopping. She's got me in the shower and she's washing me and everything, and then started stripping me. And I'm saying, Mum, look, I'll wash myself, I'll prove it. And she kicked her out of the bathroom, cleaned myself up, and walked out. Not a scar on me. I had a couple of dusted up knuckles from his teeth, from where my hands had hit his teeth. But here I am. I'm scrawny second former. I just beat the shit out of the toughest third former in school. Walked into school the next day, mate. There wasn't a kid in that school that would come near me. But at the end of the day, his brother come up. By the way, golden gloves of the school, and if anybody doesn't know what golden gloves is, means the best boxer ever. Let's just say you don't get called the golden gloves unless you beat everybody. And I pretty much had beaten the living shit out of his little brother, his big brother, but he was in my level of school. In other words, he was the same form as myself, or class or year, whatever you want to call it in your country. But he was the golden gloves of the other school, up until me knocking the shit out of his brother, who could and was a boxer just the same. And up until that, he was the actual top bloke in the whole school. He was a second former like me, and he had beat fourth formers up. And but in the ring, he had beat him up in the ring, and he'd done boxing as a sport. And he walked up, beat the shit out of me. I went home, just a couple of bruises. My pride had been hurt a little bit, but I only say a little bit because I'd just been beaten up and still walked home after being beat up by the golden gloves. And but after that, never had a problem. This nerd, still a nerd. To this day, I'm still a nerd, but covered in tattoos, skulls on me, nearly like a skull ring on nearly every hand. A skull on the back of my head, and ridden bikes and stuff like that. But there's nothing wrong with being a nerd. So if you're a nerd, don't worry. Eventually you get back on those bullies. And some nerds do snap eventually and have something to say about it. And as you can see, this takes some process, and it looks like all these images are fucking blocked. I know. Yeah. So as I was saying, with that, here's a sundog actual creating something there. Now notice that there's one there. You draw a line, it comes through there, and then you draw another line, there's another one comes through there. But I believe that's part of the spire there. But maybe there's a bit more physicality to them and things like that you can't actually see. There's not many images in here, by the way. Not many at all. And so they are actually in there, and I believe that that particular Google Earth image has actually found and proved my theory. Oh, I'll find that another day. But yeah, so oh yeah, nerd that kicks ass. Yeah, pretty much a nerd that kicks ass. It's I'm not scared of anybody. I've stood up to some pretty big men in my life. The only time I have ever lost a fight, and I have lost one fight since. I was 15 years old, but I was beat up by a guy that was 6'9", built like a brick shithouse, and he beat me up while I was sleeping. Serious. King hit me while I was asleep, then threw me out because I took his job. So I worked for a circus, and he didn't like the fact that I actually got his job because I was better than him, because I was able to fly up the tent and I wasn't afraid to run up the tent while it was actually up. And he couldn't do that, and eventually the boss saw that I was a better worker and everything like that. He was a casual that worked so long and everything like that. I had actually moved into the circus with them, but he travelled for a few towns with them, and he didn't like the fact that I got the better job. I was a bit of a smart ass as well. And yeah, so he come in while I was sleeping and beat the shit out of me. He ended up getting kicked out of the country. He was a Kiwi. And when he went to court, he got deported about 2 hours after he got out of jail. So did go to jail for a little bit of time, and well, that's what I got told. I wasn't actually at sentencing, but because I was actually in surgery having my nose repaired because he had busted my nose up. And that's the only fight I've ever lost, because I was sound asleep when he hit me. But I have stood up to blokes like him since and haven't had a problem. And it takes a lot for me now, because I've changed since I have changed, and I'm a great deal. I haven't snapped like I have with Dave for a long period of time, and but I will defend myself if I have to. I know there were 2 fights I lost. 2 fights, because one I'd actually died. I was smacked with a what is known in our country as a shifting spanner, where it's an adjustable wrench for Americans. My ex-wife's friend had come over, was doing a favour for my ex-wife, and let's just say she had planned to, I'd say, end me personally, and the doctors said I actually did pass away, because when you pass away, you shit yourself. And if it wasn't for a fellow employee, he came over and actually saw that I was down, saw the blood on my forehead, knew something that was wrong, come over and applied CPR until I came back to life, and they called an ambulance for me whilst I eventually got up after I was brought back. I'd realised that I'd been soiled, and I pretty much got rid of it, and tried to clean myself up as much as I could while I was waiting for the ambulance to arrive. And by the time I got to the hospital, they had said I was very lucky that I had a fellow employee that had risked the chance of getting AIDS to revive me, because yeah, let's just say it's the first time I'd ever been kissed by a man. I'm not going to complain about it because it saved my life. And so yeah, 2 fights, okay? 2 fights. But one used a weapon, the other one got me while I was asleep. And so nerds can stand up for themselves. It's some nerds just don't, but when you have someone throwing stones in the back of your head for 20 minutes, I think it was, you tend to snap. And I've got a fairly high tolerance level for people and stuff like that. It takes a lot for me to snap. I've snapped over a poker table a few times with smart asses, but never actually hitting them and things like that. I've held myself back, and it takes a lot to hold myself back, because I've learned over the years you just have to call security. So I do that now, and that's how I get to keep my reputation as a good guy. I just say, security, can you help me out? And they help you out. Nothing wrong with asking for help from security, because that's what they are paid to do. Because if you hit somebody these days, you go to jail. And let's just say I don't feel like going to jail, stuff like that. So it is better if you think. But if you're a kid and you snap, that's a different story. Kids snapping and everything. Oh, I love that video of that young tubby kid snapping in Australia, and he just picks that bully up and throws him like a little fucking rag doll. Man, that's my favourite kid in the whole fucking world. That was pretty much like I was on the day I beat the third former up. So, and but yeah, it changed me inside. Let's just say no one picks on me anymore. They pick on me, I tell them go and get fucked, and if they keep on going, I have had fights, but I've always let them instigate the fight. But yeah, I try not to fight now, and it's a better thing if you are older and everything. If you can talk your way out of a fight, you are more of a man. You are not a coward talking your way out of a fight. Because one, it protects you from going to jail, and no one gets hurt. It's not cowardice, and it truly is not cowardice. You are more of a man by talking your way out of the fight, because it does. You think about it. It takes a man, a true man, to stand up with enough courage to talk to the person that's trying to knock his block off and say, look, dude, what's the point of it? You hit me, you go to jail. I hit you, I go to jail. So let's just call it thing. We don't like each other. Yeah, we won't fucking talk to each other. And that's pretty much what I do these days. And there's nothing wrong with it. But I will protect myself. Oh yeah, let's just say I'll protect myself real fucking quick. But the whole point is, it's sort of, in life, yeah, you can be a nerd, guys. If you snap when you're a kid, it's okay. If you snap when you're older, yeah, you can get in trouble. So just be careful. And you are more of a man by talking your way out of the fight than anything. And anyhow, get back to this. But that's why I'm smart and I don't take shit. Getting back to this, it's sort of, so you've learnt a life lesson as well. Learned a little bit about this version of the Bluebeard. And I do know that the other Bluebeards had similar events happen, different ways and different people, but I've known one of the other beards to go through something similar. But yeah, getting back to the sun. And I believe that these are the thrusters of the star and everything like that. And I'm going to come back to this, actually. I'll be coming back to this and discussing this in greater detail. I'll be practicing my speech for my thesis presentation. And I've been studying the sun for 30 years, and I said, well, I'm not going to university until I can prove my thesis. And so instead of college next year, I'm thinking about maybe, I'm hoping all the other beards discover this same thing, but they'll discover it soon when they come here, that this is the evidence we need, and it'll go into the journal as a hallmark event. And but yeah, it's strange what you discover in life, and there's nothing wrong with looking at these sort of things, guys. There's no shame in being a nerd. No shame in it. And to get knowledge and acquire knowledge is smart. Like, suns aren't round. And I'll argue till I'm blue in the face that stars aren't round. There's so much evidence in here. Now, everybody says, oh, this is fake. It's not. This is made up of every single image taken by the Hubble, taken by the Kepler. It's taken by all the telescopes that are out there in space. And they take so many images. They are the best things that we ever put into space. We've learnt more about space through all the telescopes that we have placed into space than anything. And yes, Google Earth is a graphical display. It's just a way of doing it. There's so many different things, and the way we see the stars through Hubble is different to the way we see them from Earth. See, if you look at, say for instance, if you look at this, because there's a program called Stellarium. Let's see if I can get it up actually. It's a browser-based thing. It uses more like clouds. They look like cloud, but in here, see, you're getting more information because the telescope, it doesn't have to go through the atmosphere. I think that's the name, but it'll get me the stellar. There we go. That's the one. So, and this is the one I learned about. I didn't even know this program existed. It's sort of like Google Sky and everything like that. It's a different sort of a program. I know I do have to download it, so it might take a little. Yeah, I've got to download this one. But you get more like different ways of looking at it. But see, you get the same sort of thing. But the images in this are from ground-based telescopes. And yeah, it's different to other things and everything like that. I might leave that one open so I can come back to it. But there are other things, other programs as well, but I've got to shut down Google Sky to do it. So close that one. Yeah, yes, we're going to save all those because I don't want to lose them. And then we'll go to the Worldwide Telescope. Where are we? Microsoft. Might be under. Oh, I get my big screen TV back in a few days. And on Tuesday I get my massive big screen back so I don't have to squint and look at these fucking monitors like this. Worldwide Telescope. So with this one, now again, you're seeing the stars in a different way again in this, because the stars in this one are through different telescopes. Some use Hubble's, but they're using different telescopes. There's quite a few telescopes out there. I think this is more Kepler images. But the Stellarium, they are Earth-based telescopes taking the pictures and taking the images. And they are combined exactly the same way as Google Earth. And it's like a planetarium. Oh, God, it's got to initialize. It takes a little bit of time to get all the data. It's going to slow the stream down. It just slowed the stream down. So if you get buffering, I do apologise, guys. Just okay. So we've got this up now. The Stellarium. Yeah, this is this is the Kepler scope. Okay, so that's our solar system in the middle. Okay, I'm trying to work. I forget how to do this. Haven't been in here. Okay, so we're in the solar system. We just want the sky. So already we've found something. See, the same things that you see in Google are here in the Worldwide Telescope, but there's more information in the Worldwide Telescope. See, in Google they're just cut-offs. But here you can see that the clouds, the ends of these things have got like a cloud on them. And here is one of those same things that we showed you in the other thing. But this here is being left behind. It's the exact same thing. They're always left behind by these things. It's the same thing that I was showing you before, but this is a smaller version of it. Oops. When the star is left, how about that? You look at the center of it, it's a square. It's a square, guys. Stars aren't round. what the field they create around them is. And guess what? They actually travel along these same things as well. They create them and they can travel down these things. And I believe that there are smaller craft that they use to traverse. When I first went through this program, I discovered a very strange object. A very strange object. Ah, man, no, that's not the one. I've got to close that up. And I wish you could get rid of that bit. It sucks that you can't get rid of that. You've got a very strange, small. But see, when you look through this, you get this is more a Kepler thing. But when you look at this, you see the same stuff as you're seeing in Google Sky. But the Kepler's got a bit different sort of a lens on it. And you're just looking at a massive cloud of stars. This is the Milky Way. And again, with the Worldwide Telescope, this is why I know we're inside the galaxy in this region, because there's the edge, the outside of the Milky Way. So we're more on the inside of the Milky Way. And that's the centre of the Milky Way. And everybody says, oh, well, if we hadn't moved 80,000 kilometres and all this thing, 80,000 light years, sorry, yeah, well, all the star systems would be in the same thing. But see, with the star systems aren't in the Milky Way, in our galaxy, they're out there. So if you go from one side of the Milky Way to the other side of the Milky Way, you still see the exact same stars. The only difference is you're seeing them from the opposite side of the galaxy, and unfortunately with the Mandela effect, that's what's happening with us, is we're seeing these stars from the other side of the galaxy. I'm trying to find out what that little blue thing is. Oh, that's a point. So you still see everything the same, but it's just a different telescope. Now again, all those spires, you can see how they cut through the thing, but notice that it's not the thing. And the reason why it's cutting through the edges of these things here is because the star is turning every now and then. Now, you want to see a planet? Another around a star? There's, okay, how many we got here? You discover more things here. Okay, there's a star there. There's a star there. There's an asteroid field around this star. So this has got either a lot of little planets, which could be, or a shitload of asteroids around it. So this star here has a lot of asteroids. It's got a couple of planets, but it's got a lot of asteroids. And they travel with you when you travel. Now these are a pair. How do I know these are a pair? See that gap there and that gap there. That gap there is the same, and those gaps, all the gaps on the outside of these fields are exactly the same as each other. So these two stars travel with each other, and so that means they're turning in the same direction. Okay, here we go. We've got a planet there, another planet there. We've got a planet inside. We've got a planet over there, planet there. There's a lot of planets in this one. And another big planet there, another planet there. Oops, and there you go. There's a projectile, a sundog projectile. Now notice how you can see that that's physical. That thing there on the star, it's not a reflection, folks. That is not a reflection. When you see those glistening things in your cameras, they are real. And you see them even through an Earth-based telescope. And as I said, that was the other image that I'm trying to get off the guy from the astronomy club. But as I was saying, like, I was looking through oh, there's something interesting. Oh, okay, we got an oddball there. There's something travelling through the sky. So you're pretty much seeing similar images, but different. See, the field of these ones are not as advanced as some of this one doesn't show the high def field that Google Sky shows you. This shows pretty much the same as what the thing. See, there's a Stardog bullet, a Sundog bullet. This lady's got me saying Stardogs. There's a Stardog bullet. You can't place mark these things in here, which sucks. We've got something interesting there. There's another Sundog bullet. Something travel. That actually looks like it could be a spaceship or something. But see, you still see the Sundog. And it's just the resolution of this particular telescope taking these images. Oh, okay, this is that. Oh, that's the same thing. That's where there was a sundog near this. Yeah, this was what he took a photo of. There was a sundog when he was zoomed in. I don't know where Earth is here. Oh, it might just be. Oh no, it's a nova. It's a supernova. But that's just any supernova. I don't think that is the exact same one. But he was taking photos of a supernova, a particular one. Found the thing. So it doesn't matter where you look. Now see, in here, you zoom in there. There we go. I think this is the same one. Yeah, that's the same one. No, that's actually that's a different one. Now, see, within this as well, it looks like there's a field, an electronic field creating something else within the star. That looks like it's similar to the one, or maybe it's a different resolution. I think that's the same one we were looking at before. And see how it cuts through them when they dump them. When they dump them, see, and that's the same star that dumped them. Notice how that ring is not around it anymore. Notice how it does have a ring, but notice it's a lot smaller. There's the actual gas cloud around it. And it's already developed a new little ring. But that's what we see. When we look at a star or our own sun, this is what we see. Okay, and this one has one planet that we can see there. Another planet there. Like, some people might think this is boring as all shit, but to me this is the most exciting thing. Okay, we've got a 3-planet system. We've got, no, 1, 2, 3, 5 planet system so far. 1, 2, 3 more there. These are more like, would be equivalent to where Jupiter and thing is. I'm trying to find one that's in the Earth base. There's another one there. Oh, there's a weird looking thing in the middle. What's that? That's interesting. Don't know what that is. Most probably a tri-galaxy over way behind somewhere. Another planet there. And I bet you there's more on the external that we just can't see from here. Oh no, there's another one there. So now I'm actually looking on the external. I need to zoom in while I do this one. It's got an asteroid field. It's got a big asteroid field, actually. And another one there. Another one there. There's something that's been shot out of a sun. Oh, we've got a star worm. I call these star worms. Creatures that live in space. You see them better in... You see the star worms better in this telescope than you do in Google Sky. Problem is you can't place mark in here. I haven't found a way to place mark in this yet. Oh, and it's creating a sundog as well. There you go. And it's actually created a sundog and it's fired something out of a sundog. And there we go. There's a sundog there. And that has fired something out of it. So, yeah, you see all these things and everything. G'day, Michelle. How are you, darling? And, okay, so we've got another little dot. So let's go and investigate this. Now, that one is very interesting. Love to know what that is. That could be some globular cluster. That looks like it's possible cluster. Like a gas cloud or something like that out in space. Could be a life form. I don't know. Whatever it is, it's fucking huge. So I'd say that's a globular cluster or something like that. And it's just a matter of zooming in and finding stuff. Here's a star. Oh no, there we got a star bullet. Craft of some description. And trust me, you can tell the difference between a galaxy and a sundog and a star bullet. Yeah. Another one. Oh, this one's very interesting. Notice how that they always create a field around them. That's a giant craft of some description. There's something even in the distance here. There's something way in the distance. Again, another star bullet. And they're everywhere. And like, as I said, in here, I'd love to be able to mark them in here, but that's what I mean. Like, it's just by fluke. Well, I found the evidence that proves my theory. I can finally write my thesis. Get the credit I damn well deserve. All I got to do is learn how to write the thesis now. Because they've got to be written a certain way. Okay, now here's a good example. This star moves around a lot. When I say moves around, it turns a lot. How can you tell it turns a lot? Notice how all the cuts within this gas cloud are curved. So this is turned a fair bit. And already I can see multiple planets within this one. And these are always attracted by the gravity of the star. There's 1, 2, an asteroid field, 4, maybe 5 planets that you can see in that field. If I zoom in, might see more. And notice how, here you go. Oh, actually it's dumped. It's done a dump. It's either dumping or it's done a dump. Because notice how there's a field behind, there you go. It's just done a dump. This has just moved. Oh, this is so perfect. Look at that. I need to take a screenshot. Hang on. I need to take a screenshot. There you go, another discovery, folks. More proof that stars are square. Perfect. See it? And I even do a little movie. So turn that off. Because I've got so much stuff open, it's just taking a little bit of time. Gotta get rid of it. It's nice to actually get evidence like this. I got so much stuff open, the computer's starting to shit itself. So this one's going to be full screen. We'll go full screen on this one. Now, even though I'm recording it on YouTube, this is a more professional thing where I've got backup evidence sort of thing. So here, I click on it. You can see here that there is definite a square. And you can, this is, okay. And I can even tell the direction. I can even tell the direction this star has moved. How about that? This evidence is now telling me which direction this star has moved. And it's not moving in the way that you think it's moving. It's moving away from us at an angle. How do I know? Well, there's the first ring there. There's the third ring. It's making little adjustment movements. Another ring there. There's another ring there. There's another ring there. So this has done a few adjustments. How do I know? Well, there's a sundog there movement there. There's a sundog movement there. There's a sundog movement there. But there's also those same little squares in the middle. Here, here, and here. And then there's another one just on the inside. So again, you're seeing the sundog movement and stuff like that. And it's actually moving, this one is moving away. So that dump that's on the outside, the blue one, is the oldest one. And this one has moved away and it's left the, oh no, the brown is the older one, maybe. Maybe the brown is the older one. But you can definitely see that that star... Oh, hang on, no, it may be, actually, no, that's coming towards us. Sorry, it's coming towards us at an angle. It's coming towards us at an angle because the one at the very back is smaller. Now, that's why they're overlaid. Sorry, it's coming towards us, but it's coming on that angle sort of thing. It's coming up at that angle. Because that's there, because that's... You wouldn't see that sun over the thing. Oh, you might, but it's either coming towards us or going away, okay? But it's travelling at an angle. And how you can tell that the star in the centre is a cube. There's the cube there. So, best evidence I've had in a long, long while, folks. And where's my... why isn't that not... Oh, don't tell me it's shite itself. Oh, damn, software's shut down. And, yeah, so, oh, shit. How about that? Oh, well, I've lost the evidence. Damn it. Yep, shut down. I told you I had too much stuff open, so it didn't record. That was that noise it made just after I started recording it. So there you go. So another more evidence, and I wish I could have marked that so I know. Actually, where is it? So let's have a look. Guided tours. So there's no facility to mark this thing. Oh, what's this? Stop. Guided tours, community, telescope, view, settings. That's the thing about the worldwide telescope. You can't mark it. But there it is there. More proof that I'm going to take one more. I can't take one more. Why? Actually, where has it gone? It's... I want one more image. The bugger shut itself down. Why isn't it taking an image? I think my computer might be overloaded. What can I shut down? Ah, that's why it's overloaded. Eve was open. I must have accidentally had Eve open. And the computer has spagged. It's Eve is one of the games I play. And the computer has spagged the dummy. Okay, no, it's running. It's saying it's running, but oh, there it is there. It's already running. Ah, there it is. Come on, open up. There we go. It's over here. Finalising the video, so I didn't lose it after all. I had it all the time. Yes, and as I said, I know I'm recording it on something else, but this is just something more for a private file and things like that. It'll go and it'll be more concentrated. It won't have all the stuff of thing in there. I don't record sound on this one, and let's just say all those videos before when I was making those streams and we were losing sound when I was using the Snagit was actually the Snagit that was shutting the sound down. So I've had to disable the audio on Snagit, and yeah, so just by a simple error, you can discover stuff by just mucking around. You can discover stuff, and this is how discoveries are made, folks. It's sort of, if you want to discover something and everything like that, you've got to look. And those of you out there that are Mandela affected, yes, I know I'm not talking about the Mandela effect. I know I'm moving around. Well, you know we're moving around. It's nice to talk about something different. This is what I used to do. I love this so much. And all the other beards love this so much. And it's exciting. This astronomy is the most exciting thing that you can do. And if you ever find yourself where you got I'd say 10 grand. 10 grand would set you up nicely with at least an 11-inch scope, all the equipment you need to run it and everything, because telescopes are half the price now of what I paid for my telescope. I paid 14 grand for the same telescope you now can pay 7 for. Exactly the same damn telescope. Because what happens is after they sell enough of them, they drop in price. I wanted it at that time of the year, so I paid twice as much when it first came out. It was the bee's knees of telescopes when it first came out. Now they've got a better one. But the better one is actually only astrophotography. You can't actually look through the telescope with an eyepiece. You've got to use a camera. So, yeah, it's just different things. And if you want to get into astronomy, and it's unreal. It takes a bit of time to set stuff up sometimes. But that's half the fun. You get to go away. You get to, and like if you join an astronomy club and stuff like that, you get to do different things. See, that's one thing we still can do. And I realise that. And I've started to realise that even though we are going through the Mandela effect, because it did take over every beard's life. And some of the beards, yes, have been affected very critically by one bad verse in especially. And let's just say the videos that they have and haven't made tell the story of what they went through alone. And I haven't experienced, and a lot of the beards haven't experienced that particular verse. Yet there's a lot that actually have. I would say a percentage of at least 1/10, at least 1/10 of all the versions of us from all the different realities have gone through V3. The rest of us haven't. And it doesn't matter what verse you are in, you actually hear of V3. The story is told in many verses. So as a version of myself that travels and hears it, that's the one thing always in my mind. Am I ever going to go to that verse? Are we screwing up? And I was doing a stream, I started a stream the other day when the bloody Optus upgraded my service and sort of put me out of whack with my thing. Oh, we got a red one. What's this red one? We've got something interesting here. Oh, we got something really interesting here. Oh, we got a star moving. Oh, man, that is unreal. Oh, look at that. That's a star just set out its blast. And there's a sundog coming out of it. Has it travelled and then changed direction? I think it's travelled. I think it started there and it's travelled here and then it's changed direction. That is amazing. I've got to get a photo of that one. This is why I do this, folks. And I've started to realise, mainly because a couple of beards ago, they started to realise as well that we've let ourselves go from our original research. Check that out. How amazing is that? How amazing is that? And if I get a full screen, I'll get the... am I on the coordinates? Yep, I've got all the coordinates. Observing longitude, latitude, observing time. So if I take another image with making sure that that stays there, I'll get all the information I know so that I can actually come back to it. So now I have the information. Recording time now. Okay. Oh, okay. I can actually record it as well. So recording time now. So it's actually recording, and so okay, I can actually record this. So that's actually a good one. There. So now I can actually now go out with the telescope. I've got the longitude, latitude, and I can go out with my own telescope and I can look at that now. If it's within my field of view at any stage, I can look at it. And if it's not in my field of view, I just have to wait until it is in my field of view. Wait until the axis of the Earth is in the right spot. Then I can actually have a look at what it really is. So we'll pause that. But because I actually have the photograph, I can now come back to that. But see, it's just different things and everything like that. So don't let the Mandela effect ruin your life. Yeah, we're shifting around. We're going from reality to reality. We are, in a way, we are lucky. And yes, I've got to say it. In a way, we are lucky. And I think that is the same thing. That's not a galaxy. That's a comet. Oh no, hang on, it could be. Could be a globular cluster with a thing, so we'll know the thing. I'll take a photo of it. So all my latitude and longitude is now recorded. I can come back and I can now look at that through my own telescope and see what it looks like through my Testing 1, 2, 3. Sorry about that, guys and girls. I didn't notice that until you said it. How long has it been out? Because I've been talking about this. This could be a sundog that is affected by solar, like not solar wind, but interstellar winds and things like that. It might be a certain way, it might have been laid, and it might have just been moved along, but they are physical. And this actually proves that they are physical. G'day E-Man, how are you? I haven't seen you on. I haven't had a video come up about you for a while. And I'll tell you now, E-Man, if you're making videos, I'm not getting them. Because I'm sub to you, and I haven't had a notification by you for a thing. But that's what I mean, guys and girls, when you're looking. I'm just doing a star thing. I'm sick and tired of talking about the effect, E-Man, and so I'm pretty much doing what I used to do, and that's look at the stars and make discoveries like that. And it's either a space worm, but I think that's a sundog that is affected by interstellar winds, and yes, interstellar winds. And see, there's more to the universe than we know. You look at it. Okay, let's zoom out. Let's zoom out. Let's zoom out. Look at that. Look at that. That tiny little discovery of that sundog. That lady has got me saying star dogs. It's just stuck in my bloody head now. Just that tiny little discovery is in that tiny little thing, and I'm only going by the colours. Like, you zoom in and you go a lot slower. Like, you zoom in at this level and you go through that. It would take hundreds of years to find this thing. Do you know, people like me discover more things in here than the NASA scientists, because even NASA can't go through all these images. Now, that one's an unusual one. Okay, that's very unusual, that. Is it an asteroid? Could be an asteroid. That one could be an asteroid. I'm going to record that now. Got that. Got an image. And yeah, so I decided, E-Man, just to go back to my roots, and I was out looking, and I'm looking for UFOs pretty much. And like, there, unidentified object. So it's just a slow process, but it's great fun. And then you find them in here, because I've just taken that photo. I now can go to my own telescope and I can find it. And that's the thing. It's sort of, you've got to look for it. Yeah, well, they blocked me. I'm still barred for another 5 days, and I will be streaming over on my real channel in 5 days. But I don't know how long I'm going to be in this verse for. And then you have to put up and train a new Bluebeard. Oh, now this one's interesting. Oh, I would say that's a cold star. That's a dying star, folks. That I know. I know what that is straight up. That's a dying star. It's losing its thing, or it's a coronal mass dump at a great distance. Because the dying stars and the coronal mass dumps pretty much look the same. And see, just by doing that, just by zooming out, I've just found something else. Now, this one's very interesting. These could be life forms, or these could be gas clouds or things like that. So, as I said, like, I use these to help work with me on the telescope and everything like that. It's easier because you can't bookmark in this you've got to take photos of the longitude, latitude, and you've got all the declinations and everything in there, so you just take a snapshot. You just get all the images and you put them up on the laptop and you go, okay, I want to go to that longitude, that latitude. You put it into the controls and the telescope just takes you straight there. Sometimes you might have to do minor adjustments to see it. And you get to see what it looks like from Earth. And you might have to look at it. You might have to expose your camera for 4 hours. Follow the thing for 4 hours. That's a good thing about my telescope. I can follow an object. See, with astrophotography, you do need to spend money because you need the equipment so that the... Now, see, this is what they call a brown star, okay? Because they look brown. I believe they're different sorts of spaceships and everything. There's a dump, I think, that's happened, and this has moved away, that mass around it. So when as I said, when we're looking at a sun, our sun, that's what you're looking at. Oh yeah, you got suspended too. They got me on a old video of the original Bluebeard, and they booted us. And 90 days, same thing. But we got 5 days. Yeah, they're just doing everybody. All truthers are getting copped something shocking. And it's pissing me off. Something, yeah. It truly is pissing me off something. Let's go and have a look at a different section of the galaxy. Whee! Oh, there you go. A simple spin. Found a sundog. So let's travel the sundog. How about we travel the sundog? See what we see. Okay, let's find the opening. Okay, you can't find it because it goes all the way off into the distance. Anything interesting on it? Because sometimes you find things travelling on it. This is pretty fresh. I actually think that sometimes these are for a reason. I think they can create them, not just to shoot things out of it on objects in a certain direction, but I think first they clear the path and shoot one of these out, and they know that they can send something down it and shoot it out. Wow, this one's a big one. I'll have to zoom out. Holy shit, this one's a very big bastard. This would be and by the way, this would be billions of light years long. This thing is billions and billions of light years long. You can tell that this is a long sundog. Holy shit, this is a very long sundog, folks. A very, very long sundog. There we go. Now we're going to look at the end. This is the exit. How can I tell at the exit? You'll see in a sec. This has shot something out of it. And this is the sundog where whatever was shot out of the sundog, which I believe is that little thing there, which actually looks like maybe a ship. And what do you guys reckon? Do you reckon that's a ship? I might take a photo of this one. Get a longitude, latitude, so we can look at it ourselves. So I don't think the ship will still be there, but notice how that the exit, and see, it tells me that's the object because it's on the side, and notice how it's curved. See how it's actually curved and shifted out. But going back to what I was talking about, the Mandela effect with everybody, you've got to have a break from it every now and then. But okay, now it doesn't look so big. But you zoom in on it, you can tell it's big. It's long and lanky. So it's sort of these things and everything, and it's just like you can see I'm just being random with the mouse. I'm trying to find a clearer section of space where, because at the moment we're still looking near the Milky Way. Let's go away from the Milky Way. And what do we see? The moment we look away, we see heaps of sundogs. This is a cluster where I know there are stuff beside it and around it. I know this sundog real well. This is a multiple. The star has created many of these all at once. And this is the exit point. That's, I think, is the exit point. Is there anything on it? Okay. And as I said, oh no. Oh, okay. This has had two, look at this one. This has had two things leave the sundog. One has left first. This would have left, or maybe that left, then that one left. So they've turned at the same time, hence this one has come out of the sundog there. And I haven't done this for a long while, man. I really haven't. It's sort of, I'm just one of many of the beards, and we're all starting to realise, even across the verses, where we do, and a lot of people don't realise, we actually talk to each other through the journal. And fair enough, we're only talking to the person that's following us and lands here afterwards. And but we do understand what is going on. Oh, this is a good one. See, you still see these in Google Earth. Now we're going to follow this one slowly. And now notice things travel on it. Stars, once they're there, I think smaller stars, smaller ships use these as transport paths. So I'll have to mark this one. So there's another one. Oh, what do you know? There's a little square star in the middle. Square star, see? Square. And as I said, when we see a sun, we only see that much. We don't see what's in the middle of it. Whatever these things are and are transporting, we are just being dragged along. That one hasn't dumped its that sun hasn't dumped its thing. But see, suns are nothing more than spaceships. That's all they are. They're just spaceships. And there's one still on the thing with the ship still in. Oh, and yeah, you can make it out. It's just, oh no, you can't make out. That one's a square. But they're travelling along. They are actually travelling along these sundogs. There's multiples. Is this a path? Do they create these paths so that other ships know that these things are safe? That's a safe area to travel. They've blasted the thing. And then you've only got to look at, there's two there, there's two more there. So everything you're seeing in Google Sky, you see on this, but you're seeing it different. Oh, okay, yeah, well, this one's left. This one's left, and it's left its little square mark, or that still could be a ship in the internal. And it's a square. Stars aren't round. We only see what is on the outside of the star. That's all we are actually seeing. We don't see what's on the inside of them. We see what's on the outside of them. And I can't wait until I do a presentation in front of other astronomers. And, like, I won't be laughed out. I guarantee you I won't be laughed out. I'll be dumbfounding them, something shocking. I always do. Every astronomer that I've spoken with, I dumbfound. And these things, see, I don't know whether they just follow them, whether they are come along and just use them and chop them up to make new ships, because there is an actual physical residue. For that to appear like that, that's a physical residue. And when I say residue, not the same as a Mandela effect residue, it's actual physical. And it's there, and things just come along and chop it up and chew it up. So you can just zoom around. See, that actually weren't. Those were in our own. They're in the Milky Way. They're at the edge of the Milky Way. So I'm wondering. See, this is a theory. I have actually, and I did work on this at the early stages as well. That is the Mandela effect part and parcel because we were pulled along with our star. Did our star make a major movement and do something like this? And it affected reality and things like that, and we went to another side, and the beings, maybe the same beings that operate these ships, are fucking with us and moving us around. We don't know. We truly don't know, folks. But all I know is, like, something is causing it, but I don't know what is. But and here's a coronal mass dump. Here we go. There's a coronal mass dump. Square, as I said, look at the shape. Square. See, these are just closer to us. We can see these a lot better because they're closest. There's the star that dumped it. Because you go over to the star, notice how it doesn't have its big ring, but it's creating, and it's already starting to create. No, it hasn't even created the new one. Has not created the new one at all. And so you can just constantly go on with it and see all this. But you just scan. So let's go out of the galaxy, out of the Milky Way. We'll jump out of the galaxy. What direction will we go in? Well, let's play Star Trek style. Let's go in this direction. Engage. Not much out there, you say. Oh shit, yes there is. There's a lot out there. So it doesn't matter what direction you go in, you're going to find stuff. Now this is what I call a star cluster, because that's pretty much what it is. This is a nursery. I believe this is where they make the damn things. They build lots and lots of these things, folks. Or they could be life form. A star could be a life form for all we know. And they build the boxes and they harness they build the cubes and they harness the life form. Planets could be a way of harnessing a star. Oh, okay. They've got a little ship. We've got a little ship. There we go. There's a little ship. Little square. Spotted that one as I was coming in. And that's actually got a lot of planets on this side. You can see there's a lot of planets. There's an asteroid field. There's one planet on this side of it. 2 planets. But God knows how many planets are in that area of the star. As I said, the Goldilocks zone of a star, which would be Earth to a star, would be way out here. But we can't see them. It's pretty hard to see them unless they're illuminated. They'd be let's have a look. Let's see if we can actually see. Oh, actually, yeah, shit, that could be a planet. There you go. Notice how, yeah, that's a planet. There you go. That's actually a planet. And it's got an atmosphere even. Hey, check that out. It's got an atmosphere. That's a planet. Holy fuck, I found a planet. But see, that could be a planet. See, notice the difference between them. They're not stars. Stars look totally different. That's another planet. That's wow. See, that's a star. Oh, there's an asteroid. They could be around our star. Oh, that's one of our asteroids, folks. Check it out. You can tell the difference between our asteroids. You can see them. You can see the shape. So this is one of our... So we're actually looking now at one of our own asteroids. That's one of our own asteroids. I'll take a snapshot so I can look at it. Whenever I find one of our own asteroids, I always snapshot them. See, sun, See, that could be a planet too. I think that's no, that's another asteroid. No, hang on, let's have a look. No, that's a planet. That's a planet or one of our asteroids. But see, if you want to really get into the nitty gritty, you can even look for asteroids. That's a planet. That's a ship. Holy fuck, look at that. That's not a star. What the fuck is that? I think I just found a UFO, folks. I have just found a UFO. Longitude, latitude, and I bet you if I look at that one, I won't find it. That is a definite UFO. Holy shit. And that would be near us. Not out in space. That's near us. For it to be that clarified, like the clarity of that shape and that effect around it, that ship is near Earth. Or near the telescope. See, because if it was a distance away, maybe not. It may not be. Oh, if it's different, whatever it is. Might be wrong, but I think... No, actually I might be wrong. That could be a problem with the lens. No. Oh no. Yeah, it must be something to do with the lens of that particular camera. It's the lens of the camera. Okay, I did not find a UFO. It's the lens of the camera. It's the style of the lens. I know the type of the name of that lens actually when I think about it. They're a bitch to focus, especially at long distance. There. Okay, what do we got here? We have an asteroid. Or something else. That's a... That'll be... Oh no, that's... What the fuck is that? Yeah, so that's something else weird. I'll get a photo of the... See, what I'm actually doing, by the way, folks, is I'm actually not really just taking a photo of that. I'm taking a photo of that. Right there. So I'm taking a photo of the longitudes, latitudes, so it makes it easier to come back to them. And... but you can tell the difference between planets, what's near us. Like that other one before around that star, that was actually one of our asteroids, just because you could actually see the shape of the asteroid and you could tell it was an asteroid. Because you're always going to see asteroids around us through these same telescopes, because our telescopes are within our belt. And we look through the asteroid field all the time. Now these are interesting. Here we go. Here we go. You got the centre shape. Okay, you can't make out. That one's a star. There should be a sundog near it. So where's the sundog? These might have been shot out of the... Oh, there's the sundog there. See? Travelling down a sundog. They were the ones parked. So they're the ones travelling down the sundog. Oh. That's a nice... There's a galaxy there, guys. Check it out. There is a galaxy, a distant galaxy. How about that? We found another galaxy. Ah, nice fun. Yeah, there we go. I actually found two. Another one there. Now, by the way, you'd never see these through your own telescope. They would just look like a dot through your own telescope. But because there's no atmospheric interference with these telescopes, something like that. I should get the location. You can make just as many discoveries on the worldwide telescope as you can through your own telescope. See, these might not be known. 10 to 1 it is, but they might not be known. So I'll zoom in, I'll get the longitude, latitude on that. And when you're getting a longitude and latitude, you're best off getting it right in the centre of an object, or close to what you want to look at and everything. But yeah, so as you've seen by the last few vids, I've tended to go back to an old hobby that that's actually one of the most powerful telescopes there is. That these images, I believe, are through the Kepler telescope. Some are through the Hubble. These are made, this telescope, the worldwide telescope, is a project that allows everybody to look through this, and it's some of these images take days to take. There's one image, I know there's an image out there on the Hubble telescope. It took 2 weeks, the Hubble looking at that one area for 2 weeks to get the image, and that's that deep star field area. And that was when they first discovered it. That's why they're so intense. Now they just scan each one of those images in that deep star field on Google Sky. What I'm actually looking for, folks, is not just star dogs. Look at all the things. See here? Check them out. I don't need to mark these because these are the marks. I believe these are the smaller ships that the large suns... See, I believe the suns are actually spaceships, giant spaceships, controlled, because I know they do build them, and occasionally, very rarely, you find them actually in the worldwide telescope, because it's the ones in the deep star fields and things like that. But you do actually find them. They are out here. They look different. But on here, on the worldwide telescope, if you can actually find it, there's a massive black field. Massive black field. And when you see it, then you start zooming in on it. It looks like it's a polished surface. It's a giant ship near Earth. There's a giant ship near Earth, and it takes a lot to find it. See, look at them. Travelling on it, around it. So while this star was travelling, it has sent ships out. Now you've got to remember, these are not like a couple of light years. These are billions of light years long. A long distance, folks. And this is how real spaceships travel, more advanced. These are the number one, like, I forget how the classes run, where you've got our level of civilization up to the top level. These are the top level of civilization. The ones that don't just feed off the suns, these are the ones that are making the suns. And the beings that create these, that are operating the stars, and yes, I'm saying operating the stars, they are the top of the level. Pretty much, we'd call them gods. Without fail, we would call them the true gods. Not the Anunnaki. The Anunnaki could be these ones, but I don't think the Anunnaki are even these. The Anunnaki are an advanced race, but whatever are creating the stars, these are even more advanced than them. Far more advanced. Because you can't tell me that these things are not travelling. They are travelling along the thing. And you've got to remember, these are some. Okay, you can even tell which direction this one is travelling. This one looks like it's just come into it. Okay, so maybe they're in and out marks as well. Maybe they've even got traffic lines. Maybe they create these so that all these ships, maybe that's a travel zone, so that if people want to go from this area to that area, they follow that particular path, just like us. Highways. Maybe they're just highways in space. You never know. You've only got to see how many of these things are actually out there. They're everywhere. These things are everywhere in space. NASA knows about them. But do you ever hear NASA talking about them? Never. Do you ever hear about the big telescopes? See, this is why these big telescopes are being built, because they know these things are out there. They know. But there's just so many of them out there. See, they can see these big ones, and they can even see you can zoom in. If you zoom in, you still see them. But they're just thinner and smaller, and you can't see them when you're zoomed out. See, some are so small, so far away, that you've got to be really zoomed in to see them. But again, here's more. You've got to just look how many things are travelling on these things, and they're travelling. And you can clearly see that these things are actually travelling on the sundogs. This one is travelling downwards direction on that sundog. That one's doing the same thing. That one's travelling down. So I believe these are some kind of ship. Maybe that's the protective. And you think about it. You're travelling through space, right? You're going to want some kind of field around the ship that's protecting the ship that you're travelling on from hitting asteroids and hitting ships. I believe what we see as that big field on the outside, the burning field, is actually some kind of giant magnetic field or some kind of force field. And I believe we're seeing its force field. And I believe that's a force field. I've always believed that. It's a force field of some description. And but it's nice to come back and do a bit of this research. It's sort of I had a bit of a realisation when I had the Nibiruan experience. I actually now, and I do think that Nibiru experience was me being shifted. And that was just a stopover on the shift. But it may not have been. I may have got here a few days early. I don't know. And that was the thing. But none of the other beards have ever spoken about Nibiru. Is that it? No. Is that it? No. There's a massive, and you can tell that this massive black field that's near Earth, and I'm hunting, and seriously, that's what I'm hunting for right now. It's you can tell that it's a cloaked ship because the stars reflect around it. It's Buster. This is seriously one of the strongest telescopes there is. It's out in space. These telescopes are in space. That's why the clarity is better. See, that there is the same as that there. Just that's closer. And they travel, and this is what I mean. People don't even realise that they travel, but the travel distance of some stars are so far away. There's a set of images out there. I'll try and find them. I haven't looked them up in this images. What it is, it's a nebula. And it's actually the cloud, I believe, is that field. And inside that cloud, as it opens up and opens up, the stars are coming out of it, and it's proof that stars travel. And I believe that that's what these things are, and I think there's more than one within these fields. They are still in nurseries, yes, but people don't realise that stars move, and that's the strange thing. And I've been trying to tell people back at home and everything like that, and this is the first time I've actually spoken about it since the Mandela effect first started. And okay, no, it's sort of no. Oh well, this reality is the first time I've started speaking about it. But it did take that Nibiru and experience with the giants to start getting me back into it and start realising it, because that was a very strange experience. And I'll tell you now, that happened, guys. That fucking happened so much, it was beyond a fucking joke. It's made me think that there's more to life. And one thing I'm learning, and the book of, and I'll tell you now, no matter whether you're a Christian or not, you want to read the books of Thomas, and read the Gnostic books. There's a lot of books that were omitted from the Bible, but the book of Thomas teaches you some stuff. But when Christ spoke to Thomas about these things, he had to decipher them, and we have to decipher them. I've already deciphered one of them, and it was the thing that was scary. But then I accepted it and believed it, but then realised I've known it all this time anyhow. See, the light, heaven is out here, but heaven is also within us. So we are connected to this. We are part of this. We are stardust. We are made of stardust. Oh, there's a nice globular cluster right there. Check that out. See that star field? If we looked at that through a telescope off Earth, you'd see, the Milky Way. We're coming back into the Milky Way. Yeah. Yeah. Let's jump over the other side. Let's go out here. Oh, I think that thing is out in this field somewhere. Where's that? Was that it? So what I mean, you zoom out and you start to see, bang. These things are everywhere. One minute you can't see it, next minute you can. Depends on how close they are to Earth. But these telescopes are so powerful, they have actually picked up. Now these ones are strange. Check them out. They are everywhere, folks. It says, the streets of heaven in the Bible. Now, this is a Bible saying. And I believe this is what we're looking at now. The streets of heaven are paved with gold. The streets of heaven are paved with gold. What if that is gold? What if that is actual real gold? What colour is it? What colour is it? What colour does that look like to you guys? The streets of heaven are paved with gold, folks. Oh, that's a nice one. I haven't seen that one before. The streets of heaven are paved with gold. They are pathways, folks. This is how there are beings out there travel in space. Look how many there are. They're everywhere. No matter where you look, the streets of heaven are paved with gold. These are pathways in heaven. You zoom out, look how far away that one is. The streets of heaven paved with gold. And blue. And blue. And green. but the streets of heaven are paved with gold. Christ come from space. This is what he was talking about when he said it. Christ was an alien. Christ came from space, guys and girls. The streets of heaven are paved with gold. And you need to look at that. You need to see it. I might even do a video about the streets of heaven being paved with gold. And there is so much out there. There's so much evidence, folks. It doesn't matter where you're... Oh, that's right. You've got to turn. It's hard to navigate in this telescope because you've got to actually... Oh, hang on. This is how you do it. Yeah, that's right. You've got to flip it. And after you flip the Milky Way, then you can jump up and look up here. Not as much action on this side. Maybe there's not as much. Maybe the technology on this side of the galaxy, maybe both sides of our galaxy travel in different ways. But no, they don't. If you look hard enough, you'll find them. Just maybe all the most recent stuff is on that side of the galaxy. That's actually strange. I haven't noticed that before. I haven't noticed that before. All those pathways seem to be on that side of the galaxy. I must be boring some of you by now. It's outside space. It's in a fixed position in space. See, I believe they're out here on this side. Yeah, they are out here, just further out. So there's more action at the moment on the other side of the galaxy. So one side of the galaxy is a bit more active than the other. See? Swap sides and they're bloody everywhere on this side. This would turn a few religious people's heads. Oh, there's the moon. There we go. Hey, I found the moon, man. Oh, shit. The moon did a bit too quick. Now, what I'm going to do, folks, I'm going to end it here. Okay, you want to look at through this telescope. It's called the World. It's a Microsoft program. It's called the Worldwide Telescope to look at the stars through this one. And you've also got Google Sky. The difference with Google Sky has the deep space wide field, which is a different telescope. It looks deeper and it's stronger. It's actually the most powerful. And it looks right into the deep space section of space. And you can see stuff in here. A lot of people stopped buying telescopes for a while, but now they're starting to see things in here that they want to look at for real and see what they look like. Telescope sales are going up at the moment, especially with the fact that the sky is different now. You're looking at space. In here, it looks pretty much the same. Because some of the constellations look a bit different. Because we're looking at those constellations from the opposite side of the galaxy from where I came from. We're talking an 80,000 light year difference. Because, as I said, I come from... Where am I? I come from way... Hang on, fuck, I can find it. If I can find the Milky Way. My home. Yeah, no, not that side. Because we had to look through the telescope to see that. See, by using the stars, I can sort of tell. Right, there's my home is over the other side of the galaxy. If you look straight through there, my home would be most probably round about there, because those stars look familiar to me, but we're a lot closer and a lot larger. And so you'd be looking all the way on the opposite side of this galaxy over there. That's where my home comes from. So, but I can use the stars to navigate. See, you can navigate by stars. So that's how star-faring civilizations use the stars to navigate. And oh, that's actually something very interesting. Looking at it from here, it looks, yeah, it almost looks like a perfect circle from here. Almost. But my home is somewhere on the other side. I miss it. Miss it greatly. I want to go home. I really do. I want to see I want to see my stars. But it's been nice. I now know what the other side of the Milky Way looked like, and it's different. And being a star observer, this is why I know that the sky is not right. This is a new heaven for me. This is a new earth. And looking at the Milky Way from this side, it looks totally different from the other side, trust me. See this section here in the centre of the galaxy? That section there, when you look at that from my side of the galaxy, right, and anybody that comes from the Sagittarius arm of the galaxy, you will remember a very bright yellow thing in the centre. Because we don't have as much cloud. There is cloud in front of it, but it's not as thick on the other side. It's not as dense. You can see the centre of the cluster in the centre of all the stars that are closer together in the centre of our galaxy, and it looks very different from the opposite side. That is a lot brighter. I don't know if any of the other beards have spoken about it that come from the Sagittal arm, but we don't get that line of clouds through our side of it. We've got them, but they're not as dense. They're like that, the ones at the top. So the centre, you can actually see the centre of the galaxy, and it looks like a ball. And that's what it looks like from my side of the galaxy. And but it's been nice. I don't know when I'm going home again. I don't know when I'm going back to the Sagittal arm again. But it'd be nice to see the Sagittal arm from the opposite side of the galaxy. But I have gotten to know these stars. And I really, truly wish that I could take photos from this side of the galaxy and take them with me. And it would be nice. It truly would be nice. See, and a good example, okay, if I looked out from my planet into space on the Milky Way, we don't see that anywhere on the outside of the galaxy. We see something more like anybody on the Sagittal arm knows that as we spin around and everything, we turn one direction when the Milky Way is visible and everything like that. The opposite side of it is black space. Always been black space. And we can see a few other star systems and everything, where on this one you have an extra star sign, an extra constellation on this side of the galaxy, where on my side we don't have that constellation. Why? Because the star system is different and it's visible. You see different stars on the external, and I think it's one of the constellations in where is it, in here. The constellation you can see, it's the one that belongs in the Milky Way. I don't know how to bring it up in this one. It's something that, hang on, let's have a look. Might be able to do it. No, can't. But somewhere in here, you've got an extra constellation, which is an extra star sign. We don't have that. We look out of the we look outwards of the Milky Way. We have like a very thin mystical cloud, very thin, but we don't have that extra star sign because we don't have that constellation. So, and this is what I mean, like, some people aren't recording this sort of stuff, which is the stuff that you should be recording as well. And I go home and I look at it, and it's nice when I go back to the Sagittarian, but it's the thing that fucks me off the most is the fact that I'm not going back to my Earth. And I have a sneaking suspicion that whoever is doing the Mandela effect to us, I believe that we are abductees. I believe that every one of us is an abductee. And we are being moved. Maybe that we belong to a certain crowd of people. And when we get shifted, they just pick us up and take us to the next one, just dump us off on that world. But I don't think it's like that. I do think there is a problem with the dimensions. And it's strange. Because when you go into some of the dimensions, that there are definite things. Well, in this one, the Milky Way is missing 2 arms. So I do think there is a dimensional shift as well. And it's hard to explain what it is. Why, how and when, I don't know, and I'll never know. So I'm going to say goodnight to you all. I'm going to leave you with that. And maybe next time I'll talk about the Mandela effect and everything like that. I'm hoping I get to stay here a little bit longer, because it is nice to actually learn the stars on this side of the galaxy, because I've never seen them before. There's stuff on this side that I have never ever seen. Like here, I've never seen these clusters here, never seen that, never seen that, never seen that, never seen that. Never ever seen them. And yet here I see them, and like you've got a star in the sky that I've never seen. And the only people that star looks different to is the Mandela affected people. It's a very bright star, it just doesn't belong. And I think that bright star, the very bright thing, where is it? I think it's that. That's what I think it is that. Because on our side of the galaxy, we don't have that star. And I think that's what it's in the night sky when we look at this stuff and everything like that. So, but anyhow, guys, I'm going to catch you all later. And maybe next time we will talk about the Mandela effect. But I'm going to, when I do it, I'm going to stick with looking and searching through the sky and stuff like that while I'm doing it. But I'll be back to streaming more often on the main channel. I don't stream on this channel very much, because of the simple fact that, one, it's I've got I don't get the views on this channel that I get over on the other channel, and a lot of the other guys haven't jumped over and subbed to this channel, so don't know why, but it's sort of stupid. I've told them that I've got a problem in video and they haven't popped over to this. So I just haven't bothered that much with it and everything. So, but those of you that have come over and subbed, I really do thank you for showing me an thing. And those of you that weren't subs before and are now subs are going to be made subs over in the other one. And so, yeah, you guys have done a great job for me and everything, and I do appreciate it. I really do. You just control the trolls really well. I don't even see them anymore. Don't even have to worry about them anymore. So, but it's been nice to do all this sort of stuff again and to see it. And I'd forgotten to do this sort of stuff because I wasn't taking notice, and it was the realisation of Nibiru, going to Nibiru and being taken to Nibiru and walking Nibiru, and my body's going through some weird change, and I mean weird changes. I'm healing in a way, but my body feels like it's healing in such a way that I'm walking more and I'm doing more stuff. But because I can do that more stuff now, I'm using parts of my body that haven't been used in a while. I'm walking a bit more now, and because a lot of people don't know that I don't get around that much because of my injuries. It's sort of, I don't know about the other levels of the injuries of the other Bluebeards, but I haven't sort of really been that healthy. And but since that event on Nibiru, my body is starting to heal. Like, I walked so much yesterday that my body cramped. I woke up in severe cramps this morning because my legs were so sore. And it wasn't far, most probably only a couple 100 metres, but I haven't walked that far in a long while. And out of all of my, say, physically walking abilities compared to the others, I'm most probably the worst. But my disabilities were a little bit more thing because of my knee injury and everything. Even my knee, though, this is a strange thing. Before I came here, I know that I needed major knee surgery. And I mean major knee surgery. And it's getting better. It's still sore, but it's getting better. It's as if something within me is healing. But that's for another session and everything like that. So if I don't do another stream for a couple more days, give me a chance. I'm trying to catch up the others on their homework and stuff like that, and trying to get all that done. And I do not know when I'm going to go, because I've now been here, I don't know how many weeks I've been here now. But if it does happen or whatever, I do appreciate you guys and what you have done. And you've made me feel welcome, and that's good. I used to do it in every reality, I suppose. I come along to all you guys, and you have always made me feel welcome, no matter what reality I go to. This, I got to admit, has been the shittiest verse that I've ever been into. There's a lot of bad shit in this universe, in this dimension, I mean. And I mean a lot of bad shit. And it's sort of very, very strange to see the evil here, but is there a reason? Notice a lot of people have said there's maybe a reason why we're coming here. And it does say in the Bible that God's going to give us a new heaven and a new earth. Maybe this is part of the training process for going into heaven. And I mean going into heaven, like what you're looking at on the screen. Maybe this is how they introduce us to it. Maybe either we've done something wrong and this is our punishment, or we've done something right and this is our reward. Because, okay, I'm being healed. I'm looking at that. I'm learning things that I've never learnt before. I'm seeing things that I've never seen before. So it could be a reward or it could be a punishment, because I don't no longer see my children. But you've got to remember that if you do something right in your life, doesn't mean every member of your family is going to come along. But maybe they have come along, and maybe their process is different. Maybe their learning curve is different to ours. And we don't know. And this is a strange thing. Maybe we are teaching them in a way. Maybe that we are teaching the others of them, and maybe through us being shifted around and everything is a way of teaching them. So I'm just realised what time it is, so I'm definitely going to go, because I want to have a good rest today, and because I've got to get up about 4 o'clock. I haven't been to sleep yet, so it means I've definitely got to get up by 4, because I've got to whip a snip the front yard if it's not raining. Been raining here for on and off for 3 weeks, but really heavy for the last few days. I've still got to put a shed. I've got to put a shed roof up on Monday, and I've got to whip a snip the lawn so I can put the shed roof up. And I've got to trim a couple of trees, so I've got to get up this afternoon a lot earlier than 4, but I need at least 8 hours sleep, so, because I've been up now for nearly 36 hours, whatever. So I'm going to catch up with you guys later, and thank you very much, and I'll see you all, and thank you for joining me. And you can look forward to the stars. I might use this worldwide telescope for a bit more. And yeah, so have a good night, and I'll see you all later, people. Good night. Bye.